In this example, we have this trigonometric equation, and we want to go ahead and verify that these two values for x are indeed solutions of this equation. So if you'd like to try it first, go ahead and pause the video and do so, and then come on back and we'll work it together. Okay, so basically the way we go ahead and verify that these values work is by plugging them in and seeing if we get a true statement. So this first value for x is going to be negative 7 pi over 2. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in for my x right here. So I have cosecant of, and we see this division by 3. The way I'm going to deal with that is by changing that to a multiplication by 1/3. So if I have my negative 7 pi over 2, I'm going to go ahead and multiply that by 1/3. And again, that's the same as division by 3. And so when I do that, I see that I have the cosecant of negative 7 pi over 6. And then the rest of that comes along. Well, negative 7 pi over 6. Maybe instead of radians, you're more comfortable working in degrees. Either way is okay. So if we go ahead and change this to degrees, we'll see that, well, pi is 180 degrees. So divided by 6 will be 30, and then times negative 7 will be negative 210 degrees. But we don't like really having that negative angle, so we'll take 360 minus that 210, and we'll get the cosecant then of 150 degrees minus 2 equals 0. Okay, this is not so bad, but what is cosecant? It's going to be a reciprocal function, and it's 1 over sine. So we're going to be looking at the sine of 150 degrees. And so what is the sine at 150 degrees? Or in fact, if you kept this in radians, this would be 5 pi over 6. Anyway, it's going to be 1/2. So we have 1 over 1/2 minus 2 equals 0. But what is 1 divided by 1/2? Well, it's going to be 2. So 2 minus 2 equals 0. So 0 equals 0, and indeed that first value works. So we saw through direct substitution that x equals negative 7 pi over 2 is indeed a solution of this original trigonometric equation. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this second value and see if that also is going to be a value that we can use. So x equals pi over 2. So we're going to once again do a direct substitution. And I'm going to take the same approach. Instead of division by 3, I'm going to multiply it by 1/3. So multiply by 1/3, subtract 2, and that equals 0. So I'll move this over. So what I have now is the cosecant of, it looks like pi over 6 minus 2 equals 0. And so pi over 6, you can use it directly in radians or change it to degrees, once again, if you're more comfortable with that. So degrees will be 180 divided by 6 is 30. And remember that cosecant is a reciprocal function, so it'll be 1 over the sine of 30 degrees. And the sine of 30 degrees, or of course pi over 6, is going to be 1/2. So I have 1 over 1/2, or 1 divided by 1/2, which once again makes 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 0. So 0 equals 0. So both of these values we have now verified, and they each work, and we went ahead and we verified them using direct substitution, and then we just worked out the left side of the equation until we had a 0. So here we can see that these two values are solutions of this trigonometric equation.